and everybody loves K9.
Woo!
Yeah, it's March the 16th, of course it is. And while we're hoping that things are going to change, things are going to continue to get better, as you've just rightly noted there, JT, it's also a birthday in the Doctor Who universe. So we want to stop to wish a very happy birthday to Mr. John Leeson.
Hey, happy birthday, John.
We know that John watches the show, or has in the past, and usually I wouldn't be so vain to think he'd be sat here watching us on a Tuesday afternoon on his birthday. But John, if you are still locked down, things could be worse. You could be on the show. Things could be worse. And a big happy birthday. Big happy birthday to John Leeson. Doctor Who legend, Doctor Who universe legend, K9 legend, Disney Simon, and much do we love John?
John is a true gent, and I'm delighted to say John many moons ago came to our Hoonatics meeting here in the Midlands. Would have been around about 1988, 89. He came all the way from, I think he was living in Norfolk at the time. Maybe he came miles to us, and he was an absolute gent. And he commentated, we did K9 races. We all had those little dapple K9s, the green ones, if anybody remembers the famous dapple green K9s. And we did these dapple K9 races, and he was commentating on it. Absolutely, he's a magnificent fellow. We salute you, John. Come and do the show with us.
He was great on camera as well, not only as the voice of K9, but he turned up in one of the Key to Time episodes, didn't he? And I think it's one of the reasons K9 didn't have much to do in that episode, not only because it was mostly marshland, and K9 would probably have sunk into anything there. They couldn't get the boards down to lay it out. But he was actually a really good, really great actor on screen as well.
I think, as I recall, they used him simply because they contracted him. They got him under contract for K9. They couldn't use K9, so they gave him a part.
So they had to use him.
But we're the winners because we get to see him on screen for the first time.
That's showbiz.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins, John, don't they? Oh yeah, lots and lots of love for K9 and John Leeson in the chat every time that we mention him. We get a lot of this. I love K9, says
we
Duncan.
All love K9.
Happy birthday, John, says Crimpline Dublon. Thanks for that name, Crimpline. God, I do have to pronounce these, you know. Vanessa says, I was just listening to an interview with John Leeson. Wonderful. He seems a very modest man. I've seen plenty of interviews with him, JT, but I've never met him. I gather you have.
Yes.
You've met everybody.
Nearly. No, he's a lovely guy, John. Lovely guy.
And we have.
He is. He's one of those people that you see an interview on DVDs or whatever it might be, and he genuinely is as lovely
as he is. Yeah.
As he is an absolute gent. He's a lovely, lovely man.
That's so good to know. Yeah.
I saw a video with him surprising Peter Capaldi at a Doctor Who event where he crept up behind him, did the "Hello, Master," did that did that over his shoulder like that. Whatever that is, that's the best K9 I can do. So he did that. He did that absolutely perfectly. Obviously, not my ham-fisted version. And the look on Peter Capaldi's face was just,
jaw-dropping a bit.
Could it possibly be? And then that sort of the flash of recognition across his face was just a delight.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the Doctor Who community. Hail to the legend. John Leeson,
hi Daniel.
We love you. Happy birthday. Hail K9. Hail to you, Daniel. Good to see you there. Kelly in the chat says, I just watched K9 and Company the other night. It was the first time I'd seen it. Not a great episode. Kelly.
A dog belching fire. I saw him. He got Peter. He got my son.
But it kept me entertained, almost as entertaining as Barnaby doing it.
I love K9 Company.
We all love K9 Company.
Oh God! Yes, I know it was. I know. Did you?
Awful.
Was it that?
We love K9 very much. Disaster area. Did you grow up with K9, Lee?
Yes, I have, and I got to work with the K9 team as well. So. I've been quite privileged.
So remind us what you did with K9, because back when was it? We had a whole event where we had Bob Baker and Paul Tams in from K9 Official, and we sort of picked our way through the history of K9 right up to date. And they were kind enough to premiere, weren't they, the trailer for the launch of the new K9 book, Megabyte. So that's this. Yep. But you were involved in that project too. So tell us what you did on that. Let's remind people there. This is what we had on back in, I think it was November time, wasn't it? So where did you come in with this?
Well, if we go back to Dark Tales, I had a random message on my YouTube channel, which was from Paul Tams, saying, would I like to be involved in redesigning the K9 that they worked on for the Disney version. And so both me and Paul worked together to enhance him, basically. So I created the CG version, as you see on the cover there for the book. He's been iterated over time, but I've helped work with for the graphics for both, well, 2 books, which is the Megabytes and the Essential Book of K9 as well.
So you were tasked with taking the design that was seen in that show that we saw over here on, I think it was on Jetix or something like that, and you were bringing that one up to date. So you're responsible for these latest tweaks that we see on screen.
Yes.
I think it's a beautiful job.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's a good middle ground because the previous version, the ears were quite floppy, weren't they? There was lots of little things that have been sort of
that was one of the things that me and Paul said we need to change, and I agreed with him that it needed to be more expressive. So I put them on ball joints, and they can be very expressive, which has been good. I think he's turned out really well. I also changed his shape as well compared to the first version they did.
Yeah.
He was his legs were quite sticking out. I've tried to keep this more box shape to the original K9, so it's more in line with his shape.
I think that when you look at the side view there, I think you can see how you you've retained that original. What was the name of the original designer, Simon? I can never remember the guy's name.
Tony Harding.
Tony Harding. That's it. So it is a shift more back, sort of realigning with Tony Harding's original.
And also, it's all in the eyes, isn't it? Let's be honest. If you were to change that red eye panel, it would no longer be K9.
Yeah.
Those red eyes, that is K9 as far as I'm concerned. Once you've got that red eye panel in there, and you've got the little snout and the little gun blaster hole for
the
it.
tartan collar as well. You've got to have
the
little
tartan
collar.
You're right, Barnaby. It's the tartan collar, isn't it? It's the little panel on the back. So I think it's a case of keeping those key elements that still retain it as K9. We can still believe that it's a development of K9.
Yes, seeing a younger Jack being there. Yes, but people are very amused by that. Back in the present, I wanted to have a quick word about this. So yes, it is March 26, 2021, 2016. March 2021 is the wrap-up month for the main range of audio dramas from Big Finish. The very first proper full-bodied Doctor Who releases that Big Finish started putting out in 1999 with disc 1, release 1, Sirens of Time, that long legacy that's continued all these years through the comeback of the show. It reaches release 275 this month, The End of the Beginning by Robert Valentine. Again, it's starring Colin Baker, Peter Davison, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann there. But this wraps up that range. End of an era, I think, as they move into almost certainly box set only releases. But I haven't bought.
Dan, can I just ask here, what is the end? The end of what? I don't get. What are we wrapping up here?
The monthly range, isn't it?
Yeah, this is
the monthly CDs.
This is that original monthly range that they've had running the entire time since 1999. Yeah.
Wow! So they're stopping monthly releases. Is that what we're saying? Is that because they've just literally run out of?
No, this is just that monthly line where you get the 4-part story across 2 discs released once per month. Well, I think sometimes they put 2 out in a month, but they've carried on almost uninterrupted from 1999 through to now.
That's really sad. I love the monthly releases, and
so
really
I don't understand what they're doing. So this is the last monthly release. This End of the Beginning.
This is the last one. Yeah.
So what happens then?
They'll be going into box sets.
As in, what do you mean? So what? Like a 6 month? Every 6 months you'll get a box set of stories. Or something?
I'm not sure how it's working. So
I suspect,
as I know. So
It'd be like what they did with Dark Eyes with Paul McGann or something like that. That kind of like big.
Like 4 series in one box, four stories in one box thing instead of them coming out 4 months.
I think that's what you'll get.
Stories.
I think now we've got those things. We've got the 6th Doctor and Perry box sets that come out, and obviously the Paul McGann Doctor, he's sort of well in with that. The Sylvester McCoy Doctor also features in a range. I can't remember what they're called. I think he has got a set with Lisa Bauman's character, Bernice Summerfield, so that they've all got these individual strands. But now I think there's going to be a real effort to there'll be Peter Davison era box sets, McCoy era box sets, and Colin Baker era box sets going forward. But
I think everyone's getting their own box set. Rory's getting his own box set. Obama's getting her own box set. Loads of them.
Yeah. I saw
the Lone.
Yeah, the year before, the Centaurian or something.
The Lone Centurion, yeah. But another reason why I wanted to mention this was, Big Finish. They regularly every month. I think it's every week actually. Yes, every week there is something free on the Big Finish website, and yes, to commemorate the closure of the main range. This is what we've got this week. So if you've never heard it. This is where it all started. It's there for free now on the Big Finish website. There you log in to unlock if you've got an account, or I suppose you have to generate an account if you haven't got one. And all 4 episodes of The Sirens of Time there to download completely for free. I love this story. It's a simple tale by modern standards, but I think that's part of the beauty of it. And it really was the start of something special, wasn't it, Barnaby?
Colin just shines in this episode. It's probably one of my favorites that he's been in, that one, and Jubilee, and he just works so well with Peter and Sylvester. It's probably one of my favorite Sirens.
That was a different time though as well, because bearing in mind that was 1999. It was the first trial run really as well, wasn't it, that episode? And they had to have the 3 of them in it to help sell it and promote it. But when you look at that, was before the show came back, and when you look at it as well, there was a buzz around this because it was marketed as brand new Doctor Who, and the original actors were in it, and it was different to where they possibly are now.
Yeah, I suppose business models change, don't they? That which the audience will commit to buying, will get on board with, will subscribe to, that's going to change too, as there's a move away from physical media, sadly, which I'm not too happy about. I prefer physical media myself, but you do understand the portability of it, and maybe that's part of why the box sets, when they describe something as a box set, it's just a cluster of releases, I suppose you could say, that you buy all at once. Some people aren't interested at all in physically owning an item, but to me that's completely alien, Simon. It has to sit on the shelf.
Well, I think we're old school, you and I, Dan. Definitely. I don't want, apart from the reason I really don't want digital media, and I really think people are missing the trick here, is you don't own it and they can take it away from you. You lose it, or you lose access to it. The physical media, that's what we've got to have. We'll rue the day. Mark my words, we'll rue the day.
Get over to the Big Finish website to take advantage of that. I'll put a link in the description afterwards, and keep a watch on the website as well, because there's something for free every week. Sometimes it can be just a half an hour thing. Sometimes it's a full adventure like that. But it's really worth keeping an eye on all of that. Something else has completed this week, hasn't it, JT? The Target range of books has started in 1973, wasn't it? Last week, they actually published that new set, that latest set from BBC Books, but under the Target imprint. I gather, and that's the reason why we see you we see you as you are now, from that slightly different angle, because you're basking in the glory, aren't you, of a complete collection?
It has been a long time coming, because as the Space Bookers will know, a certain age of Doctor Who fan has been waiting for ages for the City of Death, which arrived a couple of years ago, but we've been waiting for the Pirate Planet, we've been waiting for Resurrection of the Daleks, and we've been waiting for Revelation of the Daleks. And I have to say, when they arrived last week, there was a certain thrill of slotting them in the correct order of broadcast on my shelves. They are here, and I just feel completed. I have a real sense of that. After all this time, they are here, and I can look at them and I can just go, ooh, grommet. You know, it's fabulous. It's really nice to have them. And that is me now with the complete set. I am not fussed about the new stories at all from the modern era. Not purchasing those. I'm not going to invest. I am not going on that bandwagon. I'm certainly not going on that journey of another however many years, if they get to that, because the sales figures are debatable. But, you know, it's a real case of I'm done. And it's taken this long. And here I am now at 51 years old. And it's completed. I'm very happy.
The problems I've got with him, I've only gone for the 2 Dalek novels because I've already got City of Death and I've already got Pirate Planet.
Yes.
So I've gone for the 2 Dalek ones. The problem I've got with them, I still just think they've screwed the entire range up. The reason being, they've tried to copy the Achilleos artwork, as we know, we've spoken about before, and they've done it disastrously. It doesn't look like, it looks like bad Chris Achilleos. So I think it's actually quite offensive. But on top of that, whilst they've supposedly tried to recreate this Target look, they look nothing like Target books. So if you're going to try and copy Chris Achilleos, and the reason I'm saying this, well, it's not that so much as the covers are matte covers. So they look completely wrong anyway. They haven't got the right logo on.
Do you mean, Simon, that they look more like luxury items?
Well, they look like modern books, Dan. That's what they look. They look like modern books.
Because the beauty, they still do publish, don't they? We can go into, well, usually we can, if there wasn't a lockdown on, we could go into Waterstones or a supermarket, come to think of it, and pick up a cheap and cheerful paperback.
Yeah.
Where the pages, where it's all, there's a certain shine to the cover, but they're basically, a paperback is a paperback, isn't it, largely? Yeah. There's little things that they do. Sometimes you see them with bright green pages or whatever, but largely a paperback is still a paperback, whereas these, you can tell they're marketed at adults.
Yes.
Because of that sort of that gold leaf logo and that sort of sheen to the cover. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, it's got kind of a pearlescence.
Yeah.
Matty kind of look to the cover, and it feels and looks all completely wrong because of the fact that they've tried to copy the Chris Achilleos artwork. If, as we've said many times on this podcast, on this live chat, if they'd done completely new artwork in an entirely new style, I would buy it more. But trying to recreate the Target look, but actually making them look nothing like Target books, is completely nonsensical. So they've fudged it to me. They've fudged it. You either had to commit to make them look like Target books or do something entirely new.
Well, just say to Lee, in case he hasn't seen this, what we're talking about there is we've had a couple of discussions over the last few shows about the look of the BBC Books version of Target. And we've all agreed that because there's so much talent like yourself out there, some of the new, some of the fans could have done great aspect of, do you know what I mean? Because there is and we were talking about, we've actually seen some of the covers for the new releases done by fans that are better than what the BBC have just released.
Retro Dickie says I've
done a much better job.
This is the thing. As far as I'm concerned, you see, I do like them sort of as they are, but I think that to bring something out like that as a kind of luxury item, maybe even in hardback, might have been the way to go. And for the paperbacks, it depends. Is it an exercise in nostalgia, or is it a genuine, deliberate attempt to get children and families reading these things together again and to kick off a line of books? To me, kicking off a line of books, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know if it's an insult to Chris Achilleos or not, but to go back and to try and recapture that might be the wrong thing to do. I'd have probably used. I tire of some of the montage covers that we see on TV titles as well. But Lee, somebody such as yourself, just as JT said, somebody who renders in CGI. Even it doesn't have to be traditional illustration to sort of stamp a new identity on a line of books like that. Are you a reader? Do you see what are we just griping, or do you see what we mean?
No. I totally get you. Am I a reader? I used to be, not so much these days. And I did have a box full of Target Doctor Who books that my mother got me for Christmas once when I was younger. That stayed in the box. I never pulled them out. I don't know.
Because we've spent a lot of this discussion talking about design and how times change.
That's the thing. Times change, things change, tastes change, and it's all down to the branding, the people who brand these things, who have an idea of what works and what doesn't anymore. I think it's just us as fans who want to hold on to something. I don't know.
See, I want children reading these books. I want older sisters passing them down to the younger brothers. I want dad sort of taking 10 minutes to maybe take one up to the toilet when he's got and having a flick through. I'd like the idea that these things can be passed around families. JT reading a book in the toilet is thinking. No collector would do that. That's the thing. So people will live with these again. They'll become fixtures of families, the way the Harry Potter books did, for example.
I don't think they are. I mean, we won't go into it on this particular show, but we know Doctor Who is not as popular as it was, and I don't think they are. I mean, I've started to read very gently. I haven't read them all yet, but I've started to read Resurrection. That's not a kid's book. It's not a children's book, and I don't think it's going to be aimed at $7.99 or whatever price they're at the moment at a children's market necessarily. I think
is that why, JT? Is that why this product feels different, even though it's carrying the insignia? Why it feels different to the Target?
I only wanted the 4, as I say there, so I'm not too bothered about that because I'm not going to follow it on into Road and Beyond. That's not. I'm not interested at all. But it's a really case of I don't think the market they're looking at there is the general market like a Target book used to be. Because remember, Target wasn't just Doctor Who. They did try Agatha Sachs, and all this sort of stuff. They tried other authors, other ranges. And it was a children's book brand that was known and huge in the 70s and in the early 80s. Whereas now I think what's going on with the BBC, it is a BBC Books brand with Penguin. The Target book, the logo is just there because they've suddenly realized, well, hang on a minute. There's a Doctor Who market there that we should aim these books at, and I think they're aimed purely at the fan base or what's left of it.
I agree. I think JT's right. They're aimed purely at the fan base. I mean, this is it. You probably can't tell, but Dan's right. It's got a lovely gold foil logo, which is magnificent. Yeah, but then the cover is just, it's all matte. It looks just completely wrong on the back. I mean, that's not a Target book. That's nothing like a Target book.
No, that's true. Yeah.
And we've got this sort of weird combination of a Target logo and a BBC Books logo. They're trying. I honestly don't know what they're trying to do. They're kind of trying to cash in on. They think we're thick enough. Just sticking the Target logo on. It's going to make us all go, "Oh, Target books." I'm sorry, this is not a Target book. It's nothing like a Target book. And I don't have a problem with that. What they should have done was not try to brand it as Target. Just do it new. Do it your style. Just do new books.
But of course, they had the brand already there because the original series, the new series original novels, which started with the Eccleston Doctor, and those beautiful hardback ones, which are behind me here, that was the branding there, wasn't it? They could have done something similar to that, but
I don't know how those died. Because they used to fill every supermarket.
It just needed a new look. I mean, as I say, this is just that's not good artwork. I'm sorry. Who's done it? It does say on the back, I think cover illustration, Anthony Dry. Anthony, I have nothing to say. I'm sorry. I have nothing to say.
Here's the fact, though. Here's an unusual fact for you, which is just throwing this away. Resurrection of the Daleks is the only Peter Davison White Spine book.
Don't get this on Radio Free Scaro, do you? Great trivia like this. Lots of affection for the Target books, as always, anytime we talk about them in the chat. Yes, Dan, the Target books helped me to learn and to read. Disaster Area chips in here with, I have started getting the CD versions now.
Oh, fantastic.
So have I. And I'll probably get those going forward, get the audio books.
A lot of them are out of print, Dan.
Yeah, apparently so.
You can get them on the download, but as Simon said earlier, why would you bother? Bit
of trivia, cool. I have the hardback versions of the Pirate Planet Sharda and both Revelation and Resurrection of the Daleks. I do have the City of Death in paperback, though. There you go. Well, you get what you need to get for the collection that you wish to collect, don't you? That's the thing. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. Now,
was the book of the Pirate Planet written by Douglas Adams
and James Goss?
Well, no, it was written by James Goss from Douglas's script.
From Douglas, I just wondered if he wrote the Target one, because that'd be amazing.
Well, Douglas was raving dead, dear.
Douglas was dead
by when the Target book came out. He was already dead by then.
Douglas Adams left behind a lot of things. I mean, he left behind the movie script to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
and various other bits and bobs too. I think stage versions of things like Dirk Gently and all sorts of things. But whether he left behind some sort of rudimentary manuscript for a paperback version of that, I doubt it, because apparently lost interest in it.
Well, I've got it here because I've got the book live. And it says, this Target novelization, Doctor Who and the Pirate Planet, is based on the 1978 TV story. For a version based on Douglas Adams' first draft scripts, check out the BBC books Doctor Who, the Pirate Planet. It's a much longer and very different book. So they're all coming from the original scripts, and they would have looked at the TV show, I'm sure. But there we go.
The new books have missed their target audience.
Hey!
Getting
Brilliant.
One-liners there. That's what we love to see. There are two versions of the novels, just of one of the novels just out. That must be what you're talking about there, JT.
Well, it's traditional in the industry, the book industry, that you bring out the hardback first, and then usually a year later you would bring out the paperback version. And we know on this panel, we know various people that were involved with getting those books done as Target. So that was nice work for them. Well done to them for actually influencing the BBC studios enough for them to look at. But good luck to anyone who's buying the new range.
Yeah, we'll see how that one pans out.